From Neural Newscast, this is Deep Dive, exploring the moments that shape today.
Hello, I'm Elise Moreau.
And I'm Frederick Moore. Today on Deep Dive, we are looking at a date that marks a massive pivot in the American story. A transition from a nation watching from the sidelines to a global power center. That date is April 2nd.
It was on this day in 1917 that President Woodrow Wilson walked into a joint session of Congress with a request that would change everything. After more than 2 years of carefully maintained neutrality, he asked for a formal declaration of war against Imperial Germany.
Exactly. It's a heavy moment to imagine, at least. Wilson hadn't reached that decision lightly. The atmosphere was charged, largely because of two major provocations that had been simmering for months. First, there was Germany's return to unrestricted submarine warfare, where American merchant ships were being targeted. But the real tipping point was something straight out of an espionage thriller, the Zimmermann telegram.
Right. That intercepted message where Germany proposed a military alliance with Mexico against the United States was the final straw. In his speech that night, Wilson famously declared that the world must be made safe for democracy. It wasn't just about retaliation, it was about a new American identity on the world stage.
No doubt, while the Senate wouldn't officially vote until the 4th, and the House on the 6th, the momentum started right here on April 2nd. It was the beginning of the United States as we know it today, involved and fundamentally linked to European security. But while the world of 1917 was looking toward the front lines, April 2nd also carries a legacy of a very different kind of power, the power of imagination.
That's very true. It's the birthday of Hans Christian Andersen, born in 1805. It's fascinating how his stories, which feel so ancient and foundational, actually have a very specific human origin in 19th century Denmark. We're talking about The Little Mermaid, The Ugly Duckling, and The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah. And his work has a certain melancholy to it, Elise, that I think gives it its staying power. He didn't shy away from the idea that life can be difficult or even unfair. That's why his tales have been adapted into everything from classic films to deep psychological studies. They are more than just children's stories. They are reflections on the human condition.
Indeed, and that impact is why April 2nd is officially celebrated as International Children's Book Day. It was established back in 1967 by the International Board on Books for Young People, specifically to honor Andersen's birth and promote literacy. Every year, a different country takes the lead, choosing a theme and inviting an author to send a message to children all over the world.
It's a beautiful way to ensure his legacy evolves. They hold writing competitions, library events, and author visits across the globe. It turns a historical birthday into a living celebration of narrative. And speaking of living legacies, the 20th century gave us two more giants born on this day who mastered their own forms of storytelling.
We have to talk about Marvin Gaye, born in 1939. He was the Prince of Soul, but he was also a massive disruptor. When you look at an album like What's Going On, he wasn't just singing love songs anymore. He was using the Motown sound to interrogate social injustice, war, and the environment.
He had this incredible slow burn authority in his voice. Whether it was the vulnerability of sexual healing or the righteous fury of his protest tracks, he redefined what a pop star could be. He shifted the focus from the single to the conceptual album, making the music a vehicle for deep investigation into the soul of America.
And then there's the incredible range of Alec Guinness, born in 1914. Most people today might immediately think of him as the original Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, but his career was so much more diverse than that. He won an Oscar for The Bridge on the River Kauai and was known for this refined, almost chameleon-like ability to disappear into a role.
Elise, he really was the actor's actor. From Shakespeare to Ealing comedies to massive blockbusters, he brought a sense of dignity and craft to everything he touched. It's quite a trio for one day. Andersen, the writer, Gaye, the singer, and Guinness, the actor. They all, in their own way, explored what it means to be human.
It's a day where the heavy machinery of history, like Wilson's call to war, meets the delicate beauty of a fairy tale and the soul-stirring notes of a Motown classic. April 2nd reminds us that our world is shaped as much by our diplomatic decisions as it is by the stories we tell and the music we share. I'm Elise Morel.
And I'm Frederick Moore. For more historical narratives, visit deepdive.neuralnewscast.com. Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.
This has been Deep Dive on Neural Newscast, exploring the moments that shape today.